Hi everyone! Check out our free video lesson specifically made for those learning economics from afar. I'm Kahor Vanigina Abdavahidovna, an English teacher at Kashi State Technical University. Today we'll dive into one of the core topics in economics, the systems of economics. So let's jump in. Today we are going to learn about the followings. To get to know the concept of economic systems and their fundamental characteristics, to review the topic with the help of video and other engaging tasks, and to practice present perfect continuous tense in economic contexts. Before we start, I would like you to think and answer the following questions. So the first one, if the government decided everything you could buy, how would you feel and why? The second question, do you think competition is good for consumers? And can you explain why and how? And the last question, which system do you think Uzbekistan mostly follows and why? Take a little time to think and share your opinions. And now let's talk about economic systems, the foundation of how every country manages its resources and economy. An economic system answers three key questions: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Based on how countries answer these, we get different types of systems. Let's start with the traditional economy. This system is based on customs, traditions, and beliefs. People often inherit jobs from their families, such as farming, fishing, or hunting. Examples can be found in rural parts of countries like Ethiopia or Papua New Guinea. The advantage is strong community bonds and sustainability, but the disadvantage is slow development and limited access to modern technology. Next is the common economy. In this economy system, the government makes all economic decisions: what to produce, how much, and at what price. A clear example is North Korea. Another historical example is the former Soviet Union. This system can ensure equal distribution of resources and fast decision making, but it often reduces innovation, efficiency, and individual freedom. Now, the market economy. Here, decisions are made by businesses and consumers through supply and demand. Countries like the United States, Canada, and Australia follow this model. It encourages competition, innovation, and economic growth. However, it can also lead to income inequality and lack of social protection for weaker groups. Finally, the mixed economy. This is the most common system today. It combines elements of both market and command systems. The government regulates important sectors while allowing private businesses and operate freely. Countries like Germany, Japan, and Uzbekistan follow this approach. Uzbekistan, in particular, is a very interesting example. In recent years, Uzbekistan has been transitioning toward a more open and market-oriented economy. The government has introduced reforms such as currency liberalization, support and entrepreneurship, and increased foreign investment. At the same time, it still plays a key role in strategic sectors like energy, agriculture, and infrastructure. For example, Uzbekistan remains one of the world's most leading cotton producers, but it also rapidly developing industries like IT, tourism, and manufacturing. In conclusion, each economic system has its own strengths and weaknesses. There is no perfect model, But understanding these systems helps us better understand global development and economic decisions. Dear listener, I think that after this video, you now have a basic understanding of the economic systems. Now, to strengthen your knowledge further, I would like to ask you to answer the following questions. So, the first one, what are the 3 basic economic questions every country must answer? Second one, why does a traditional economy usually grow slowly? The third one, what were some strengths and weaknesses of the Soviet common system? Fourth one, how does demand influence production in a market economy? And the last one, why do most countries prefer a mixed economic system today? Now let's move on to the next exercise, where we are going to read the statements and decide if they are true or false. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think, but if you need extra time, you may press the pause, and when you have finished, we can check the answers together. So, let's check the answers together. First, in a traditional economy, production methods often remain unchanged for generations. That's true. Traditional economies rely on customs and traditions, so production methods usually stay the same for many generations. The second one, a common economy allows complete freedom for private businesses. And that's false. Government controls most activities. In a common economy, the government makes most economic decisions, so private businesses do not have complete freedom. The third one, the United States is an example of pure market economy with no government involvement, and that's false. The United States is not a pure market economy. The government still plays an important role, like taxes, laws, and regulations. The fourth one, shortages can occur in common economies. That's true. Shortages can happen in common economies because the government may not always correctly predict supply and demand. Fifth one, in a market economy, prices are controlled only by the government. And that's false. Prices are mainly set by supply and demand. Sixth one, China combines state control with private enterprise. And that's true. The seventh one, economies try to balance efficiency and social equality. Yes, that's true. Let's move on to the eighth one. Today, most countries follow purely traditional economic systems. That's false. Most countries now use mixed systems. In next exercise, we are going to match the following sentences with appropriate definitions. You'll be given 30 seconds before we start checking. Okay, if you have finished, now let's check our answers together. So, scarcity. It's the situation when resources are limited but wants are unlimited. Innovation. This is the introduction of new ideas, methods, and products. State ownership. This is when the government owns and controls industries. Competition is the act of trying to be better than others in the market. Consumer goods, these are goods produced for personal use, not for production. Inequality is the difference in income or wealth between groups. Next word, allocation, is the process of distributing resources or products. And the last word, welfare, is social support provided by the government. Let's now watch an interesting video that will help us explore the topic in more detail. And at the end, we will answer questions related to the topic.
How does a society figure out how to get everyone everything they want or need? And who makes the decisions? We all need or want things, or goods, food, a home, a car, and gas to make it run. And we want or need services like access to the internet, medical care, or even pizza delivery. These goods and services are part of an economy. Governments and societies have developed different ways to meet the needs and wants of their citizens. What to produce, how to produce it, how to distribute it, and who makes the decisions. These are called economic systems. There are 4 basic types of economic system: traditional, free market, command, and mixed. A traditional system depends on trading and bartering for goods and services. A free market system is based on the idea of free markets, with minimal government influence. In a command system, the government has almost complete control. This is common in countries with centralized power. A mixed system, well, it has both. It's a combination of free market and command economic systems, like the United States. Every economic system has its pros and cons. Traditional systems are often used in smaller societies, but they cannot grow to meet the needs of a larger society. Free market systems give businesses a great deal of freedom, but with that comes a risk of exploitation and poor quality goods. Command systems, where government controls production, can be efficient, but quality and choice can suffer. In a mixed economic system, goods are generally available on demand, and the government can step in to resolve any issues. Finding the balance between government control and a free market is challenging for any society. Why do you think most countries around the world have a mixed economy?
So, dear listener, I hope you had a great time watching the video, and now let's answer to the questions belonging this video. So, the first question, how does the video define an economic system? You should think about it and share your opinion. Next question, what is the main characteristic of traditional economic system? The third question, who makes economic decisions in a market economy? And the last one, who controls economic resources in a command economy? And now I'm going to explain very useful tense in English, the present perfect continuous. So what is it? The present perfect continuous is used to talk about actions that started in the past and are still continuing now, or have just recently stopped but have a visible result. And the structure is very simple, so you use subject plus have and has, and plus been, and plus verb with help of ing. For example, I have been studying for 2 hours. She has been working all day. Now let's understand when we use it. First, we use it for actions that started in the past and are still happening now. I have been reading this book since morning. This means I started in the morning and I'm still reading it. And second, we use it to show duration using for and since. They have been living here for 5 years. he has been teaching since 2020. And thirdly, we use it when we see a result now. You are tired because you have been running. The ground is wet because it has been raining. Now, why is this tense important? Because it helps us focus on the process and duration, not just the result. It answers the question, how long or what has been happening. Let's compare. I have written a report. This is result. I have been writing a report. This is the process. Maybe he is not or she is not finished. And now I want to explain the difference between since and for. These two small words are very important in English, especially when we talk about time. First, let's look at for. Let's talk about it. We use for to show a period of time. In other words, how long something happens. For example, I have studied English for 3 years. She has been working for 2 hours. So remember, for equals duration. Now let's look at the since. We use since to show the starting point of an action, when it began. For example, I have studied English since 2020. She has been working since morning. And you should remember that since equals to starting point. Here is a simple way to understand. For answers the question how long, since answers the questions when did it start. Let's compare. I have lived here for 5 years. I have lived here since 2019. Both sentences are correct, but they give different information. And now, in order to check your comprehension, we are going to do the next exercise. We should fill in the blanks with appropriate words. Here we should choose either for or since. And if you look at the bottom of the slide, you can see the clues when we use since and when we use for. Having finished, we can check our answers together. So, time for the checking the answers. First, the company has been operating since 2010 or 2010. Second, they have been discussing the project for 2 hours. The government has been reforming the system since last year. Fourth one, she has been studying economics for 5 years. The fifth one, we have been waiting since 9 a.m. Sixth one, he has been working here for a long time. Seventh one, prices have been increasing for several months. Eighth one, they have been living in Tashkent since 2022. Ninth one, the factory has been producing cars for decades. And the last one, she has been preparing the report since this morning. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I'll be very happy if I have contributed even a little to improving your knowledge of economics. That's all for today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lessons. And for now, goodbye.